Greetings, system failure listeners. Nate here with your weekly essay read. This one entitled The Torch of Freedom and subtitled Old Symbols of Debt Forgiveness Hide in Plain Sight. The major theme of this essay is debt forgiveness, a practice widely observed by early agricultural societies until the Romans forfeited economic sustainability by not forgiving debts. Key points. Number 1, sun gods were said to dispense laws from on high that made human society sustainable over time. Number 2, Bronze Age sun gods helped human society avoid disaster by commanding periodic debt forgiveness. Number 3, the Statue of Liberty's torch is an old Babylonian symbol for the forgiveness of debts. Solar lawgivers. To modern people, an ever-accelerating rate of technological innovation makes the passage of time feel like progress towards a goal. But the ancients conceived of time very differently. They thought in terms of endless cycles of renewal. Accordingly, they worshipped sun gods who reflected the cosmic rhythm of death and rebirth that dominates agriculture. Many of these sun gods were resurrected or reborn, like the Egyptian sun god Ra. These solar deities were also said to pass down laws that promoted balance and sustainability, like the Babylonian sun god Shamash. Ra and Shamash have become iconographic templates that were later borrowed by traditions like Judaism and Christianity. These newer faiths de-emphasized their solar origins. But the passage of laws down from on high remained a major theme in the story of Moses and in the Christ Pantocrator icons prominent in Orthodox Christianity. These icons are symbols of divine sovereignty. Pantocrator translates into ruler of all. It depicts Christ in the same seated position once assumed by Shamash, as he dispenses laws that have the power to save humankind from apocalypse. Though Jesus isn't considered to be the literal sun, he retains Ra's Egyptian sun disk, which we recognize as a halo. The hidden danger of debt. The Code of Hammurabi is famous for being one of the oldest examples of laws written down for common reference. They're inscribed on a basalt pillar and currently housed at the Louvre Museum in Paris. The top of that pillar depicts the Babylonian king Hammurabi receiving these laws from the seated sun god Shamash. Law number 48 commands, if a man has a debt lodged against him, and the storm god Adad devastates his field, or a flood sweeps away the crops, or there is no grain grown on the field due to insufficient water, in that year he will not repay grain to his creditor. Debt has always been an indispensable tool for expanding human society. But it comes with a hidden danger. Unforeseeable circumstances, like the floods and droughts cited in Law number 48, sometimes conspire to make debt repayment impossible. Some debts always turn out to be unpayable. When the inevitable happens, debtors were forced to surrender to creditors the collateral they pledged on their loan. In the aftermath of floods and droughts, foreclosures happened en masse. This had the destabilizing effect of concentrating wealth in the hands of a few wealthy creditors whenever weather or war disrupted agricultural activities. Hammurabi didn't command periodic debt forgiveness because he was a nice guy. He did so to prevent any of his subjects from becoming wealthy enough to challenge his lineage for power. Periodic debt forgiveness prevented that outcome and lent stability to the Bronze Age societies of the ancient Near East. That's why Hammurabi and the Babylonians conceived of the commandment to forgive debts as having originated from Shamash himself. The Statue of Liberty. The dangers of mass foreclosure went beyond mere property. In ancient times, debt defaulters were obliged to become slaves to their creditors and work off their debts. Hammurabi and other kings of Babylon couldn't afford to stand by and watch huge swaths of their subjects become slaves after every flood or drought. That limited military recruitment and left them defenseless against conquering armies. The Babylonian kings had no choice but to reserve the right to undo disastrous debt arrangements. They would raise a physical torch from a high point, usually a temple or palace, to signal to the surrounding countryside that a debt forgiveness decree was in effect. After raising the golden torch of freedom, Babylonian kings then ceremonially smashed the clay tablets on which canceled debt records were written. This practice was the origin of the Jewish tale of Moses smashing the Ten Commandments. When the French wanted to gift the United States a symbol of freedom in the late 1800s, the golden torch of Babylonian lore was their logical choice. It perfectly encapsulated the idea of liberty by representing freedom from enslavement. The torch held aloft by the Statue of Liberty over New York Harbor is a direct reference to the old Babylonian practice of debt forgiveness. The French added a layer of solar symbology by giving Lady Liberty the same radiant crown that once adorned the head of the Colossus of Rhodes, the Titanic statue of the Greek sun god Helios from the 3rd century BC. That crown's outward emanating rays evoke sunbeams. Conclusion. The Bronze Age civilizations of the Fertile Crescent understood that debt forgiveness plays a crucial role in lending stability to any economy. But that practice, of course, amounts to a financial haircut for wealthy creditors. For this reason, ruling classes from ancient Rome to modern America have sought to prevent any popular understanding of this ancient custom from gaining traction. That's why so few Americans understand the symbol of sustainability soaring hundreds of feet over their biggest city. Well, alrighty, folks, that is it for this week's audio essay. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, consider joining us over at systemfailure.org. There you can sign up to receive the text versions of these weekly essays every single Sunday morning right there in your email inbox. I put a lot of pictures on here. There's some further materials from the great Dr. Michael Hudson, a scholar out of New York who has done all the hard work on deciphering the debt forgiveness that was a part of virtually every economy up until the rise of the Roman Empire. And finally, if you'd like to get in contact with either Brian or myself, why you can accomplish that feat on the About page over at systemfailure.org. Alrighty, well, I will be back on Monday with Brian for another regularly scheduled edition of the System Failure Podcast. Can't wait to talk to you all then. In the meantime, I hope you have a fantastic week.